You believe in them.
Absolutely. Not only the guys up front, but the entire offense and the entire team. We're in fourth down situations. We need to go for it. We're going to go for it. We need 6 points. We're not going to rely on 3.
They are 2 of 5 on fourth down conversions this season. And the first time that Tony Banks has seen this situation. He is an experienced NFL player, 43 NFL starts as a member of the St. Louis Rams. His first for the Ravens today.
And if I'm calling this play, I want to find out where Ted Washington's lined up. It's going to be a quarterback keeper. Go the opposite way of Ted Washington.
On a 4th and 1. It'll be a double tight end set. Pierce and DeLong. Rhett in the backfield with Chuck Evans. They need inches. Inside handoff. It's Chuck Evans. And a first down for the Ravens. A good call.
Not only a good call, but a great call. Give it to your fullback, a dive right up the middle, but it's second effort that gets this play. Chuck Evans would not be denied on the first hit. It's a quick hitter right up the gut. Tony Banks is going to hand the ball up. Just smash mouth straight ahead. Second effort right there, going over the tackle of John Holisek.
Brian Billick's reaction.
And that's a confidence builder, not only for Brian Billick, but for the rest of the offense.
8th play of the drive, a 1st and goal from the 3. 2 tight end set. On a handoff, Rhett gets tripped up as he tried to accelerate ahead. He got back to the line of scrimmage. Sam Rogers got him down low. It'll be 2nd and goal. And just as that 4th down play was happening, Mark, the sun seemed to burst through. Overcast skies here in Baltimore. Now the sun has made its way as a part of this afternoon.
A little ray of shining light here in Baltimore, but this is where the yards get tough. In the red area, down close to the goal line, you've got a lot of big bodies in a condensed area. You've got the 2 tight ends in there. You want to move them around, but it's tough to hammer the ball into the goal line. But it really proves one thing. If you can do it offensively, that's the guys you need in there offensively, that you can nail this thing.
On 2nd and goal, they tried to set it up for Rhett on a little flip from Banks. And that might be a case of these two just not working together enough. But a flag down. Against the Ravens, so this will move them back.
That's why in this area, I love to run the football.
Pass interference, offense, number 88, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
So the rare offensive pass interference called on Justin Armour.
But in this area, as an ex-offensive player, you love to run the football. You don't want to take any chances. You're that close to the goal line. It's a difficult area to run the football, but that's where you hang your hat. You want to smash the ball into the end zone.
It was that push from number 88, Justin Armour. You see it on the left side of your screen. 2nd and goal from the 13. Play fake. Dump off. Chuck Evans. Try to stop and go as he crosses the 10-yard line. And Sam Cowart was there to make the one-on-one tackle. 6-yard gain on the pass play. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 7.
They get a lot of it back, but on the last play, Bruce Smith ran right by Jonathan Ogden, but he was picked up by Jeff Blackshear coming across the field to play.
Have you seen a deterioration from Bruce Smith? Because that's been the story all week in Buffalo.
Not at all. Watching films, watching Bruce Smith, they're still sliding to him. They're still double-teaming Bruce Smith. They're not letting him one-on-one, and that's respect in the NFL.
End zone for the score. Tony Banks, on his 2nd possession as a starter for the Ravens, has led this offense down the field for a touchdown.
And that's confidence by not only Tony Banks, but Justin Armour. Here's 2 players. They don't practice a lot together with the first unit. Tony Banks has it. Now he's the starter. He's going out with the first unit. He told us it would take a little time to get his timing down, but he felt he got it back on Friday and Saturday, and he looks very comfortable operating this offense.
Extra point from Matt Stover. On the drive, Tony Banks, 4 of 4, 33 yards, and it's the Baltimore Ravens with the first score of the game, 7-0 in front. Former Bill, Justin Armour, with his 2nd touchdown reception of the season. He had 6 catches for 70 yards last week, and he has certainly found a role in Brian Billick's offense. Matt Stover will kick it off. Kevin Williams is the deep man for Buffalo. Bills are down 7-0. Williams will take it from the 1. Williams with an opening, but it closed very quickly, especially behind him, when Cornell Brown was able to make the tackle. A flag in on the play. Against the Buffalo Bills on the return.
During the return, holding, number 88 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Poor field position for Wade Phillips' club once again. They'll have it on the offensive end when we come back to Baltimore. For the 4th consecutive week, the Buffalo Bills are in a 7-0 hole to start play here in the first quarter. 4:51 left in the first. On a 1st and 10 from the 10, Flutie comes out throwing and connects with Andre Reed on the sideline. A first down throw of 13 yards. Flutie to Reed. Chris McAllister chased him out of bounds. We take a look at the Baltimore defense. And across that defensive line, Michael McCrary is in a slump. 3 straight games where he has not registered a sack. Linebackers, one of the best young cores you'll see in the NFL. Sharper, Lewis, and Boulware, who has 6 sacks to lead the team. Jenkins, Woodson, Herring, and McAllister, they're in the secondary. First down from the 23. Smith and Gash in the backfield. This is the second man through. Antoine Smith trying to push the pile ahead to the 25-yard line for a gain of 2. Webster and Siragusa in on the stop.
We talked to Tony Siragusa on Friday. He told us it's going to be difficult for Buffalo to run between their tackles because they've got huge offensive linemen. They don't pull any of their linemen side to side. They just line up right in front of you, take short splits, and they try to beat you down. And he says the size of their tackles between Webster and Siragusa, they're almost as big, but he said he looks small next to Jamie Nails. He does.
He does. 340-pound Siragusa looks small next to another man. Hard to imagine on a 2nd and 8. Remersma and Jackson in there, double tight end set. And a give for Jonathan Linton. Michael McCrary, the first man there. Baltimore defense able to sniff it out. Jamie Sharper helping on the play after the gain of 3.
In the middle of that line, it's difficult to run against. Jonathan Linton's taken over a lot of the responsibilities for the injured Thurman Thomas. And on 3rd down, he'll catch the ball to the backfield. He adds another dimension in running the ball. He's more powerful than Thurman Thomas, but they still miss Thurman on 3rd and long where they can get him the ball. He's another dimension of their offense.
The Bills are one of 2 NFL teams to have 3 players with at least 200 rushing yards. Oakland is the other team. Smith, Linton, and Flutie are the 3 players with over 200 yards. Ray Lewis, one of the premier linebackers of the NFL, and that will count as a sack.
And it's the speed of the defensive linebackers for the Baltimore Ravens. All 3 of them have tremendous speed. They want to force Doug Flutie to run forward. They don't want him to run outside the rush area. They get a push inside with the big guys, but Ray Lewis, his speed tracking down Doug Flutie, makes the play happen. That's why they get the sack.
Second punt of the day for Chris Moore. Off a quick snap, Jermaine Lewis is waiting. He will move forward and catch cleanly at the 36. Lewis trying to cut it back inside, and he gets ahead to the 44-yard line. An 8-yard return following the 38-yard punt. Baltimore defense has come to play. Ravens with a 7-0 lead coming up tonight on 60 Minutes. Good grief, Charlie Brown, Linus, and Snoopy on 60 Minutes. When? Tonight, when Steve Kroft draws a profile of the man who draws them. At 60 Minutes tonight on CBS. Once again, outstanding field position for the Baltimore Ravens. A 1st and 10 from their own 44. On the draw play for Rhett. Tried that left side as he got across the 45-yard line for a pickup of 4. Sam Cowart making the tackle. You know, Mark, on Tony Banks, we spoke with him on Friday, and we asked him, how about the relationship with Brian Billick? You guys had a lot of conversation leading up to this. Banks said, you know what, when you're number 2 or number 3 on the depth chart, Brian doesn't really talk to you much.
And that's strange. When I played for the Washington Redskins, Joe Gibbs made sure the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th team quarterbacks were part of the offensive schedule, so they knew what was going on in case there was an injury.
Inside handoff goes to Chuck Evans. And it really puts Billick in an interesting situation, because if Banks is successful, people around here are going to say, well, why didn't you start him from day one?
Right.
And if Banks isn't successful, that means Billick is losing games.
And the reason they traded for him, they wanted him here. But here's the situation. It's almost a no-win for Brian Billick. It's like the fans are sitting back saying, I want the next quarterback, and they're getting him in Tony Banks. Now the question is, if Tony continues to perform like this throughout the game, it's going to be a major story in Baltimore on how come they didn't play him from day one.
On a 3rd and 4 from midfield, this is Banks out of the shotgun. Here's the rush from Buffalo. Banks throwing, incomplete. Ismail turned around. The ball was there, but Kadri wasn't expecting it.
And it's just a situation where it's concentration. They haven't worked together a lot. In practice, Tony Banks worked with a scout team, the 3rd wide receiver, the 4th wide receiver. Right here, Kadri Ismail makes his move, hits to the outside on a turnaround, but he's just too late. It was the second move that got him out of his rotation. If he gets it on the first move, the ball's on time.
Second punt for Kyle Richardson, who put one inside the 5 on his last attempt. Kevin Williams is waiting. High punt from Richardson. Williams brings it in at the 14-yard line, and that's where Buffalo will have it after the 36-yard punt. Coming up next Saturday on Home Depot College Football, it's conference crunch time in the SEC. Vanderbilt goes into the swamp for a battle with Steve Spurrier's Florida Gators. And in the Big East, the unbeaten Hokies of Virginia Tech, led by quarterback Michael Vick, take on West Virginia. Check your local listings, beginning with Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman on the Volkswagen College Football Today. That's all here on CBS. 1st and 10, they'll put the football at the 15, starting field position. Buffalo, on average, has started from their own 9. So a little bit better here from the 15 with Litton in the backfield. Get off! 3rd interception of the season for the rookie.
An outstanding play by Chris McAllister, one-on-one. Outside on the flat, it's one-on-one. Watch the move by McAllister. He breaks before Andre Reed breaks on the ball. There's Reed's move. Here's McAllister. Plants in front, breaks, comes back to the football. That's why he intercepts the ball for the Baltimore Ravens. And Doug Flutie rolls out on this play. It's an open boot. He hopes to get to the outside, but it's the relentless pass rush on the outside. Both sides, everybody going after Doug Flutie. Didn't get the pass protection. A timing matter.
1st and 10 from the 20. They'll keep it on the ground for Eric Rett. For virtually no gain on the play, Marcellus Wiley among those in on the stop. Time trickling away here in the 1st with Baltimore in front 7-0. Doug Flutie has been susceptible to interceptions the last 3 games, 6 of them. Over the first 5 games, he had only 3. On 2nd and 10, probably the final play of the 1st quarter. Play action, Banks throwing, corner of the end zone. Ismail was battling there. Thomas Smith defensively, it's incomplete.
And that's throwing into double coverage by Tony Banks, and this is what he wants to avoid, trying to press too much. You're already up, you've got great field position, but right here, wonderful one-on-one coverage by Thomas Smith. Over in the back, here comes the second defender in your screen, but that's great one-on-one. They're letting them play, they're letting them fight. You want to stay as close as you can and battle out there, and that's an outstanding job of battling by Thomas Smith.
Smith has always been a good cover guy.
And he always likes to get in your face, and he's very physical, and he was physical on that last run.
Out of the gun, 3rd and 10. For the end zone, it's incomplete. Armour got tied up as he tried to make his move. And it is 4th down. Baltimore will be forced to settle for 3. Antoine Winfield in on the coverage with Armour.
And the Buffalo defense is taking it up to another level on the outside with their cornerbacks. They're getting close to the line of scrimmage, pressing the wide receivers of the Baltimore Ravens. They had problems against the Kansas City Chiefs a week ago. They couldn't get off the line of scrimmage. Buffalo's turned it up a notch defensively.
Matt Stover has had some problems this season kicking field goals, 9 of 13. He can be erratic. A 10-year veteran. Good snap and a good kick of 37 yards. Baltimore extends its lead. 10-0 Ravens. All set up from the interception by Chris McAllister. Coming up tonight on CS. You know, with McAllister, Mark, we spoke with him on Friday and told us a great story about him and his dad. For those who don't know, his father, James, played running back in the NFL as a member of the Eagles and the Patriots.
And his father told him when he was in junior college, son, you should play defense. I played offense in the NFL, and I took a major beating. I don't want it to happen to you. You should go from offense as an option quarterback to defense. And he went to defense. He didn't like it at first because you're not a star on defense. You don't get the notoriety. But he stayed with it, went to Arizona, became a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. He's done an outstanding job with the Baltimore Ravens, and now he's glad his father told him to get away from the offense and go to the defense.
And like any other NFL player, he's living out his dream. But it's a little different when you're the son of a player, because everybody always will keep an eye on you. Yeah, maybe he will have the ability, he'll have what it takes to get to that next level, and Chris McAllister has proved to have that talent. Number 10 pick overall out of Arizona. On the kickoff from Stover, here's Williams, clothesline as he crossed the 20-yard line, and that will do it for the first quarter. Ravens 10, Bills nothing. Baltimore with the lead at home. Try to snap a two-game losing streak. Will return right after this message. Ian Eagle and Mark May back with you in Baltimore, where the Ravens lead the Bills 10-0 as we start play in the second quarter. Doug Flutie and the Bills have it, a 1st and 10 from the 21. Linton in the backfield, and he'll get the call. Linton trying to get to the outside. He does. Linton with a burst of speed down the sideline, and he's forced out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Sheldon Jackson, the tight end, laying out a block for him, and an 18-yard run.
This is why the play is successful. The guys on the left side of the line, they all get blocks, and they cut everyone off and keep them to the inside, pin them to the inside so Jonathan Linton can get to the outside. Once he gets to the corner, it's just speed versus speed, and he just powers over defenders when he gets out in the free space.
Jonathan Linton seeing extended time here with the Bills this season because of the injury to Thurman Thomas, who went down with the injury. First play from scrimmage of the 1999 season against the Colts in Indy. On 1st and 10, it's Linton again, this time trying to run off tackle. But he got smacked by Ray Lewis, a 3-yard gain. You know, one thing about this Buffalo offense, they have been struggling, but it's not coincidental that Eric Moulds is standing on the sidelines watching in civilian clothing. You spoke with him before the game.
Yeah, I talked to Eric. I said, when are you going to come back? He said, if I had to come back this week, I could have played today, but that's putting too much pressure. He will be back next week. With Thurman Thomas, it's not decided when he will be back. It may be 2 weeks, could be 4 weeks, could be 6 weeks, but they need both of those big play players in their offense.
And for Flutie, that was his main target. Inside, Linton had nowhere to run. Jamie Sharper, first man there. It'll set up 3rd and long.
And the two defensive tackles, Larry Webster and Saragusa, getting the penetration, taking on two people and pushing themselves in the backfield. Jonathan Linton has absolutely no place to go, and that allows the linebackers to converge on him in the backfield.
Sharper among the leading tacklers for this Baltimore defense. And Doug Flutie will work out of the shotgun on a 3rd and 7. Dime package for Baltimore defensively. Line of scrimmage is the 42. Thrown and caught off the deflection. Andre Reed. What a break for the Bills into Baltimore territory at the 41.
And Andre Reed, one of the best route runners in the NFL. He's lost a step because of his age, but he still runs fantastic routes, concentrates on the ball, comes back with a deflected pass. Outstanding concentration. Dwayne Starks tips the ball, but Andre Reed stays with his route, stays with his quarterback, and stays with the football.
Really should have been a pick.
It should have definitely been a pick, but that's just a veteran player staying with your quarterback.
On a 1st and 10 from the 42, off of play action, Flutie has plenty of time. Misdirection on the other side of the field, and Reed hauls it in. Andre Reed trying to pick up the slack in the absence of Eric Moulds. And that's a 1st down for Buffalo. Doug Flutie has just passed 50,000 yards for his professional career, and fitting that the veteran Andre Reed would be involved in the play.
And he needs a go-to guy. Andre Reed was always the go-to guy until the last 2 years. It's been Eric Moulds. Now they have to go back to Andre Reed as their go-to guy with the injury to Moulds.
Keep in mind for Flutie, that combines the USFL, the CFL, and the NFL. Antoine Smith now in the backfield on a 1st and 10 from the 29. Here's Smith, tripped up. He crossed the line of scrimmage, picked up a yard as Larry Webster made the tackle. 50,004 career yards. Big names like Warren Moon, Dan Marino, John Elway, and that huge name, Ron Lancaster.
It's a household name above the board.
Yeah. Oh, you can't walk the streets of Nova Scotia.
Not at all.
Without Ron Lancaster
He's the
getting
man.
the notoriety that he so richly deserves. Litton now back in there. He's been the more effective runner than Antoine Smith. A quick throw. And it's brought in by Peerless Price. Well shy of a first down. It'll set up 3rd and about 4.
And Peerless Price last week was shut out the first half, missed a few balls, dropped one that was intercepted. A ball hit him in the chest. He goes in at halftime. Eric Mole says, hey, we need you. You're a good player. You're going to be a contributor to this team. We need you to get your head back in the ballgame. Comes back the second half, a big second half. Has 6 receptions, 5 receptions, 106 yards, and he gets his first touchdown all in the second half.
He told us he had jitters in the first half, his first NFL start. On a 3rd and 4. Quick handoff. Litton had nowhere to go. Ray Lewis and Peter Boulware, 2 defensive studs, making the tackle and forcing Buffalo into a 4th down situation.
Buffalo tries to run a quick trap. Jamie Nails, you'll see him pull. He slows in the hole, but Ray Lewis reads the play, fights underneath the trap, and gets in the backfield and makes the play. Outstanding play by Ray Lewis, reading the guard, pulling around the trap, but also penetrating in the backfield, penetrating at the line of scrimmage and making a big play.
Steve Christie trying to get them on the board, and the snap could not be handled by Chris Moore. On a 40-yard field goal attempt, Buffalo will come up empty.
And right now, Wade Phillips has to scratch his head. He doesn't know what to do. They've been behind in the last 4 weeks in every game. They can't get anything going offensively, special teams, defense. Here's the snap. It's too low. It's inside. The holder can't handle it.
So Baltimore still with the 10-0 lead. 10:01 left, first half. Wade Phillips just witnessed a bad snap from Ethan Albright. Chris Moore couldn't handle it. And Buffalo has nothing to show for what was their best offensive drive of the day.
Well, they're an experienced team. They need to capitalize on every opportunity, particularly in the first half. They just can't get it going.
Tony Banks led Baltimore to 10 points in that first quarter. They had scored just 13 combined in the first quarter all season. Eric Rett stringing it to the outside. Chuck Evans in front of him, the fullback, with a good block for a gain of 4.
I like the way that Chuck Evans plays. He sticks his head in there. He's a grinder. But Jonathan Ogden, when we talked to him on Friday, said he wants to go against Bruce Smith on the 1st and 2nd downs because he wants to beat him up physically against the run so he can't come off against the pass. And he's doing an outstanding job of getting movement at the point of attack on Bruce Smith.
Ogden told us he respects him, but he does not fear Bruce Smith. On the ground again, and this time Buffalo was ready. Pat Williams smelled that one from the beginning, and Eric Rett was spun down for a loss of 3.
It's the penetration, the push in the backfield by Pat Williams. He gets penetration. Penetration kills every offensive play, goes down low. That's a fantastic play by a nose tackle, getting around 2 blockers, getting penetration in the backfield and staying low and making the tackle.
Now a passing situation on a 3rd and 9 from the 32. Armour in as the 3rd receiver. Banks operating out of the shotgun. Banks has the time. Stepping forward, in trouble, and now brought down at the 25-yard line. The sack from Sean Price. That is his first full sack of the season.
And Price is at the top of the screen, just battles inside. Nice swim move over the top, but he keeps going after the quarterback, fighting over offensive linemen, and that's what it is, his determination not to be stopped at the line of scrimmage, going after Tony Banks, the quarterback of the Ravens.
A loss of 7, and Richardson now stands at his own 10 to receive the snap. Kevin Williams, the deep man. Fair catch signal. He had some room. Williams made a quick decision. He may have had some room to work with if he elected not to go with a fair catch. Buffalo has it when we return. Final day of October. It's Halloween here in Baltimore. Welcome back, everybody. 10-0 Ravens in front. And a time for partying so far. Raven fans having a good time. Finally seeing some offense. Defense has been there as well. Buffalo's offense having problems. Flutie will work out of the shotgun on a 1st and 10 from the 28. Flutie sidearms it, incomplete. Andre Reed, the intended receiver. Mark Joe Pendry, his play calling has been questioned in recent weeks. Maybe just trying to mix things up a little bit with Flutie out of the shotgun on 1st down.
Well, on 1st down, they went with the empty backfield. No running back, get 5 wide, spread them out. But Joe Pendry's been under pressure in Buffalo. He wants to run the football. He wants to stick the football right down the defensive's throat and get 3 or 4 yards every play. But they've been behind every week, so they've got to play catch-up football, and it's tough to run the football when you're playing catch-up.
They're playing catch-up once again here today. It's Linton in the backfield on 2nd and 10. They'll run it with Linton. He has an opening, and Linton is dragged down as he hit the 35-yard line. Ray Lewis was there, but a 7-yard gain for Linton, who has been successful on the ground so far today.
Not only successful, but on the left side. John Fina, Jamie Nails doing an outstanding job over there. Reimers also is in there doing a job, but they stay with their blocks. Even on Ray Lewis, big Jamie Nails got him knocked off the line of scrimmage 3 or 4 yards before Lewis could escape and make the tackle.
Dime package defensively for Baltimore. Buffalo with a 4-receiver look on a 3rd and 3 from the 35. Out of the gun, play fake, quick throw, and it's brought in. Kevin Williams with the catch. Does it get to the 1st down marker is the question. Fernando Smith made the tackle, and yes, it will be enough to move the chains.
This play's all Doug Flutie. His play fake, his escapability, putting pressure on the defense, but it's the shotgun snap. He fakes the play inside, then he rolls to the outside. It's a nice job by Doug Flutie of taking the rush. You have 2 rushers upfield. That takes people out of their responsibilities, and Kevin Williams is able to get open and pick up the 1st down.
Flutie over the last 2 games has had 9 passes batted down at the line of scrimmage. Obviously, you'll look at his height and say there's a correlation there. On cue.
There's 10. Nice job.
Thank you. Rob Burnett. All 6'4" of him, able to get his hands on it.
We talked to Tony Saragusa. He said they don't want to really rush outside wide. They want to rush up the middle on Doug Flutie, and when he stops, get their hands up in the air to make Doug Flutie throw over their defenders. Their defensive ends are tall. If they can get 3 steps up the field and put their hands up, that puts enormous pressure on Doug Flutie.
I would think also the idea being if you come wide, you commit yourself with an angle, and Flutie is just so elusive.
He just pulls it down and runs for 1st downs. That's why they just want to go 3 or 4 steps upfield and then put pressure on the pocket.
Flutie 5 out of 9 throwing the football so far, the 1 interception. This is a 2nd and 10. Tried to get it to Linton. Incomplete. Little high for him. It'll set up 3rd and long.
The Buffalo Bills offense just is not in sync, and they haven't been in sync in the first half of a game in 4 games. And they just have to settle down offensively, and Joe Pendry, the coordinator, they have to get something going offensively. They played well in the 2nd half, but it's just the first half they've had problems getting their engine started.
This Buffalo team started the year 4-1, back-to-back losses to Oakland and Seattle. And this is the 2nd of 3 straight road games. They'll be in Washington next week. On a 3rd and 10, 4 receivers, Flutie operating in the shotgun. Deep drop, Flutie throws underneath, deflected and nearly intercepted. Deron Jenkins had it hit right off the numbers. Buffalo will punt.
And that's the defensive front of getting their hands up in front of Doug Flutie. If you can't get penetration in the backfield, get your hands up. Once he plans to throw the ball, get those hands up in the air right there. And Burnett just tips the ball right at the end. It's tipped right at the end by Fernando Smith. Outstanding job of coming across the field and getting your hands up. If you can't get close to him, put those hands in the air and something good will happen.
Here's the punt from Moore. Lewis, fair catch signal. And he catches cleanly at the 25-yard line. 37-yard punt. Baltimore with a 10-0 lead. They hope to add to it when we return. $10-0 Baltimore with the lead. 6:22 to play in the 2nd quarter. Ravens have it On a 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Their last 3 drives, they have produced no yards. Here's Banks throwing on 1st down. Blind side, the rush was coming. And Thomas Smith stepping in front of Justin Armour to knock the ball away. Incomplete. Right now, let's get an NFL Today report as we head to New York at Jim Nantz.
All right,
Jim, thank you. Tim Couch growing into that job, something Peyton Manning did a year ago, and you have to expect it for rookie quarterbacks in the NFL.
And his head coach, Chris Palmer, just wanted him to get better each week, and I think he has.
Tony Banks in some trouble. Sidearm throw was low and to the ground, incomplete. Basically threw it away as Phil Hansen applied the pressure. Now for Banks, after starting the game sharply, 5 straight incomplete passes now for Tony Banks. Premiering tomorrow on CBS, there's a whole new choice in the morning when Bryant Gumbel returns to morning television with Jane Clayson on The Early Show. And as part of the premiere, don't miss Bryant with NFL Today's Jim Nantz. Be here for a new way to start your day. The Early Show tomorrow on CBS. Banks takes a timeout with 6:13 to play until we hit halftime. 10-0 Baltimore in front of Buffalo. Halloween Day here in Baltimore. We'll come back with much more after this. 10-0 Ravens have the lead on Buffalo. Tony Banks getting the start today at quarterback for Baltimore. One of the strongest arms in the NFL. He was inconsistent, though, in St. Louis. Started 43 games as a member of the Rams. Great improvisational skills, a lot of raw ability. But the knock on him has been costly turnovers throughout his young NFL career.
He had 42 interceptions, 36 touchdowns, but it's the fumbles. 46 fumbles that he had. And he had a problem holding onto the ball in the pocket. Either it was a center quarterback exchange, or when he's ready to throw the football, he would even drop the football, and that's been the knock on Tony Banks.
I think the way Banks is looking at this, though, even if Baltimore's not interested in him next year, some other team may be if he goes out there and performs. Sideline throw. Ismael got caught up with a defender and a flag. Thomas Smith claimed that he played no role in Ismael hitting the deck. Looked from here as if the legs got tied up. And it's going to work against Ismael. Pass interference. Kadri can't believe it.
Pass interference. Offense, number 87. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
One-on-one action here. Thomas Smith puts his hands on him. That's legal, but when he makes his move to make his break right there, he does push off of the defender, and that's a penalty. That's a good call by the officiating crew.
Ismael still barking on the sidelines. 4th punt now for Richardson. And a booming punt sends Williams back to the 18. Williams has some room, though, and has a blocker. Williams trying to stay on his feet as he lunges forward to the 30-yard line. A 12-yard return after the 57-yard punt from Kyle Richardson. Next Saturday, join us for a celebration of the Gridiron's all-time greatest. From Jim Brown to Joe Montana, when the Sporting News selects football's 100 greatest players, right here on CBS Sports.
You think I have a chance?
Have you gotten a call yet?
Nah. I didn't think so.
Doesn't look good.
Even collect, I'd accept.
Where do you think you came in? Did you crack the top 1,000, my friend?
8,642.
Oh, I guess you did get the call. 5:55 to play in the second quarter. This Buffalo offense has done very little. They did have a 40-yard field goal attempt, but a bad snap nullified that. Smith is now in the backfield with Sam Gash. Flutie trying to bark out instructions to his offensive teammates. Play action. Dump off underneath Sam Gash. And the Baltimore defense was ready with Chris McAllister leading that charge. A pickup of 1 on the pass play.
The Ravens defense was absolutely ready. It's difficult to come into a hostile environment and try to change the play at the line of scrimmage, but McAllister reads the play beautifully. He sees the pick coming down. He sees Sam Gash coming out to the flat, and he attacks the line of scrimmage. One-on-one, he's given up about 40 pounds to Sam Gash, but that's an outstanding tackle by McAllister.
Mark, do you think defenses are just catching up to Flutie? Maybe he caught them by surprise last year?
Last year he did catch him by surprise, but now they're knowing how to attack Doug Flutie in the pocket and not letting him escape to the outside or underneath the outside rush.
The explosiveness offensively is just not there from a year ago. Flutie, quick throw, and Peerless Price slipped as he made his turn. It's incomplete. It was McAllister one-on-one with him. The comparisons from last year to this year. 1998, the 20 touchdowns, the 11 interceptions. That's the biggest difference. The turnovers from Flutie that we just didn't see consistently a year ago.
And not only the turnovers, the big play. Being able to escape the rush and coming down with 20, 15, 18-yard runs when they had to have it on third down. He's just not getting it this year because defenses are keen on the pocket and collapsing it around Doug Flutie.
Obviously, he can't do it himself. And with Moles and Thomas on the sideline, that certainly hasn't helped his cause. On a 3rd and 9, Flutie looking for the long ball. And it's incomplete. Camille Loud, the deep threat on this Buffalo offense, was trying to cut it straight down the middle for the big play. But McCrary applied some pressure in the backfield. Flutie maybe got rid of it a little too early, and he could not find Loud.
Camille Loud got open at the end of the play. If Doug Flutie hesitates just one more fraction of a second, right there, he's beaten his coverage man. It's a big completion for the Bills offense.
So another punt for Chris Moore. Jermaine Lewis standing at his own 30 will now backpedal. Fair catch. And he brings it in just around the 25-yard line after the 46-yard punt from Moore. So the Ravens with a 10-0 lead. They have the football, a 1st and 10. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS is back with doubleheader excitement. Among the key early games, many of you will see the Bills battle the Redskins, or the Ravens go back to Cleveland for the first time as they meet the Browns. In the nightcap, some will see the Broncos against the Chargers. Others will watch the Steelers visit the 49ers. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area, beginning with Jim, Craig, Randy, and Jerry on the NFL Today.
I still think Jerry Glanville's standing on something. There's no way he's that tall. He's got to have a stool underneath his feet.
I'll back you on that. I'll co-sign that. On 1st and 10, it's Eric Rett. Running straight ahead, but again, just a gain of 1. This Baltimore offense now, which started out strongly, is in a bit of a rut. Sam Cowart and Ted Washington combining their last 4 drives. The Ravens have no yards to speak of. That after 73 yards combined on their first 2 possessions.
And it's almost as if they've really pulled the reins and they've gotten the lead. Now let's settle the offense down and get conservative. Keep it wide open for Tony Banks. Throw the ball on 1st down. Keep it open. Right now they've gotten so conservative, they're not gaining any yards.
The fullback, Evans, in motion on a 2nd and 9. Banks, deep drop, throwing, and deflected. Looked like it may have been Sam Cowart on the deflection. Banks was looking for Jermaine Lewis. And yes, that is Cowart.
Sam Cowart had an outstanding rookie year. He's the reason why Buffalo changed from a 4-3 defense to a 34 defense, because of his ability to play in a 34 middle linebacker position.
He's got such incredible instincts down the field now in his 2nd year out of Florida State. Former 2nd-round pick. Banks throwing strong arm to the sideline. Ismail turns in. 1st down as he's forced out of bounds. Qadry Ismail bringing it in and now heading for the sideline.
And the out pattern is what Tony Banks does best. This is what they should throw, play in and play out until Buffalo stops. It's difficult to defend if you've got a strong arm quarterback, but that's a nice move by Ismail on the outside. But Tony Banks has the arm strength to throw this pass. Not every quarterback in the NFL can make that pass, but Tony Banks can.
18 yards on the pass play, 1st and 10 from the 44. Banks wants to put it in the air again. He does. Armour, who's a big target, makes the catch at the 41 into Buffalo territory. 15 yards via the air, and Banks took a shot from Bruce Smith at the end of that play.
And Bruce Smith was almost tackled at the end of the play, but he still gets in there and makes a tackle on Banks after he throws the ball right there. He's being held on that play, but Tony Banks stays with his wide receivers. Those out patterns again. The first one he throws it out to Ismail, the second one to Armour. This is what he does best. He pays the price at the end of the play, but this is what he does best. Keep throwing the out patterns for Tony Banks.
Banks got up limping a bit with that knee and maybe some confusion as he gets the handoff to Eric Rett. He ran into the fullback, and that's just Banks not being familiar with this offense on a day-to-day basis. Henry Jones making the tackle for the Bills.
And it's tough for Tony Banks. He's not used to handing the ball off to Eric Redd. He's used to handing the ball off to the third team or working with the scout teams. And all of a sudden on Monday, he's told he's the starter. He's promoted to the first unit. He's got to get used to the wide receivers, to the running backs, all their little nuances within a week.
They still got 4 yards on the play. Now a 2nd and 6. Again, it's Rett trying to hurdle his way ahead across the 35-yard line. Again, positive yardage for Rett as John Holisek made the stop. A pickup of 4. It'll be 3rd and 2.
And I like the way that Eric Rett runs. He talks all the time. He talks to his linemen. We spoke with Harry Swain. He said he can run through the hole and jabber at you saying, good block, stay with your block, keep it going, I'm going to get it first down. And he says he can look into his lineman's eyes and almost read and tell how many yards he's going to get before the carry.
Yeah, Gabe Northern on the Bills defense had a lot of respect for Eric Rett. Those two met in college, LSU and Florida, and he said that's the best running back he ever faced back in his collegiate days. Timeout. 10-0 Ravens with a lead in the second quarter. In Baltimore with 2:20 to play in the second quarter off of the Buffalo timeout. Ravens are playing their second game in 21 days, just the way the schedule worked out with a Thursday night game, a bye week in there as well. They had 9 days to prepare for this Buffalo Bills team. Now a 3rd and 2 for Banks. Looking for it through the air, and it's incomplete. Armour in some traffic. It would have been a first down if he was able to hold on to it. Incomplete. 4th down for Baltimore. Bruce Smith again getting to the backfield and giving Banks something to think about.
Right here, Tony Banks is not a happy camper. He pumped the ball 2 or 3 times. No one could get open, but Bruce Smith, relentless on his rush, kept fighting and getting to the quarterback. He only has 2 sacks this season, but he's putting a tremendous amount of pressure on quarterbacks, and he's always being double-teamed, being slid to by the offense. He can never fight through consistently.
Matt Stover will attempt a 51-yard field goal, and it was blocked. Rolling all the way to the goal line. Stover's long for the season was 50. Long for his career, 55. A little bit surprised maybe that Stover, who's not known for having a big leg, came out for a 51-yard attempt.
You're absolutely right. When this happens, Ian, kickers that aren't used to kicking long field goals, they will kick it low and try to drive it through and power it through, and that's where it gets knocked down. Great snap, perfect hold, the kick is just low, and it gives the defense an opportunity to get their hands up and knock the ball down.
Looked like Pat Williams was the guy that got his hand on it. You see that crowd up the middle.
Look at the push through the middle of the line. Outstanding push by Pat Williams. They just crushed the interior of the Baltimore protection line.
Williams a happy man right now. Now in his 3rd year out of Texas A&M, a free agent that they signed back in 1997. Coming up, the NASDAQ halftime report. Jim, Craig, Randy, and Jerry will get you caught up on all the scores and highlights. So make sure you stay tuned for the NASDAQ halftime report. On a 1st and 10 for Buffalo. Bills' offense has been virtually non-existent from the 42. Flutie has time. Slings one across the middle and incomplete. He was looking for Remersma. Deron Jenkins had the coverage. And we hit the 2-minute warning. Brian Billick's Baltimore Ravens with a 10-0 lead on Buffalo. Final 2 minutes of the second quarter with Baltimore holding on to the 10-0 lead. Buffalo has the football, 2nd and 10 from their own 42-yard line. Flutie having a chat on the sidelines with the coaching staff and now joins his teammates in the huddle. Start of the game, 4 of 6, 2 of 9 since. Only 5 yards through the air. Out of the shotgun, they'll run that 2-minute drill. Here's Flutie throwing underneath the coverage, fumbling the football. Scooped up to Ron Jenkins, but it is waved off. Incomplete pass.
And Marvin Lewis's Baltimore Raven defense has done an outstanding job of defending Doug Flutie. We're going to take another look at this play to see if it's a reception.
Kevin Williams, did he have possession?
That's very close. It doesn't look like he had possession in both feet down.
I thought he caught it. I thought he caught it. Wonder if they will take a look at this, but really they can't, because you can't change now what has happened.
It's very
tight. It's very tight. Agreed. Obviously, you know what the Baltimore fans think. Cascade of boos here at Raven Stadium. On a 3rd and 10, flags come down. That one looked ugly from the start. A lot of shifting on the line of scrimmage. The officials huddle up.
I believe this may be on the Ravens. You cannot anticipate, you can anticipate the snap count, but you can't fake a rush and come back off the ball when it's a passing situation. You can't draw the offense off sides, and Baltimore tried that.
Well, Jeff Triplett will tell us once he gets the information that he needs. Go ahead, Jeff.
Delay a game. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
That's exactly what happened. Baltimore tried to drive the offensive lineman, pull them off sides, and you can't do that, particularly in a passing situation. The offensive linemen are just sitting there right at the end. Watch, they're going to try to jump. They'll flinch at the line of scrimmage. Michael McCrary trying to get John Fina to move. You cannot do that.
You know, McCrary and Bruce Smith have been very frustrated.
And at the beginning of the game, it was funny. They were sitting on the bench talking to one another, pounding their fists and almost yelling at one another, saying, I haven't had a sack in a while. Have you? No, I haven't had a sack either. What are they doing? Well, they're throwing too many stunts. Well, what are they doing to you? Well, they're sliding protection to me. They're double teaming me. And they were really getting into it before the game.
On a 3rd and 5 from the 47. Flutie forced to take a timeout. Ravens fans still upset after what they thought was a catch and a fumble 2 plays earlier. They still lead, though, 10-0 in the second. Bills have 1 timeout remaining. Baltimore with 2. And the Ravens with the lead, 10-0. Well, we mentioned frustration for McCrary and Smith. A lot of frustration for Wade Phillips. He's just searching for answers right now. Buffalo searching for a 1st down on a 3rd and 5. Reed, the motion man. Out of the shotgun, Flutie. Here come the Ravens defense running, and it will be Flutie. 1st down run as he angles out of bounds across the 45-yard line. So Doug Flutie makes something happen with a 9-yard run. And he gets out of bounds to stop the clock with 1:45 left in the second.
And a great job by Flutie, but Baltimore rush goes too deep. They go past Doug Flutie. That's why he's able to step up and make a play. He only has to beat 1 defender right there. He slips to the outside. It's too big of an opening for Doug Flutie not to be tempted to take, and he does, and he picks up the 1st down.
Keep the drive alive into Baltimore territory at the 45-yard line. Play clock winding down. Flutie on a pump fake, buying some time and throwing it out of bounds. He floated it in the direction of Andre Reed. It'll be 2nd and 10. Coming up, the NASDAQ halftime report. Jim, Craig, Randy, and Jerry will get you caught up on all the scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report. You know, most people probably don't know that Doug Flutie is actually a Maryland native. Lived in Catonsville and Manchester, 2 suburbs of Baltimore. Then moved to Melbourne, Florida, and eventually settled in Massachusetts. And he's thought of as a New Englander. Grew up a huge Orioles fan and a Baltimore Colts fan. Right now, he's just focused on trying to beat the Baltimore Ravens. 5 straight incompletions for Flutie on a 2nd and 10. Stepping forward, slings one across the middle, and complete to Kevin Williams. A first down out to the 30-yard line, 14 yards through the air, and a flag down. A flag in the backfield.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 58 in the defense. 15 yards to the end of the run, automatic first down.
That'll help a drive. Peter Boulware roughing the passer.
And this is costly. It comes at the end of the play. Doug Flutie fills the ball right here. Let up. Just let him go. He slings him down to the ground and rolls on top of him. That's going to cost your team every time.
And they move the football to the 15-yard line for the Bills. They are in the red zone. Plenty of time to work with on the clock for Buffalo's offense. 1:29 to play in the second quarter. Baltimore with a 10-0 lead. Come out with a 4-receiver look for the Bills. Linton by himself in the backfield. Here's Flutie. Throwing. Floats one to the end zone and incomplete. Chris McAllister got his hands on it. Already has an interception today. Peerless Price, the intended receiver in the corner.
And I'm impressed with Chris McAllister, but there's definitely a lack of communication between Peerless Price and Doug Flutie. Doug Flutie thought he was going to go to the out, the corner of the end zone. Peerless Price went in after he pushed his man to the outside. That's just respect between one another. They haven't worked together a lot. It's his 2nd career start today. Peerless Price, a wide receiver. If Andre Reed's out there, he probably makes the play because he's worked with Doug Flutie an awful long time.
Price had his first career NFL touchdown last week after that terrible first half. You see what the Bills have done in the red zone so far this season. This is a 2nd and 10 from the 15. Shotgun for Flutie. Underneath, looked like he just didn't get the ball off well as he was throwing it to Kevin Williams. Michael McCrary was able to get in the area of Doug Flutie to maybe force Flutie to do something he didn't want to do.
That's one of those plays where Doug Flutie, if he steps up in the pocket, he gets an opportunity to run. And Michael McCrary on the outside, one-on-one with John Fina, has good hand placement, then loses his footing, falls on top of him. But Doug Flutie, there's an opening to his left. If he lets the rush come to the outside, contain, go upfield, and step up in the pocket, that's what Doug Flutie does best, runs laterally, then runs downfield.
Flutie, 7 of 20 throwing the football, 68 yards. Bills need a touchdown. On 3rd down. Flutie throwing to Andre Reed, trying to scoot ahead. He had to get to the 5-yard line. He's short. Buffalo still has the 1 timeout with the clock moving. 1:04 and ticking. And they will bring the field goal unit on for the possible 3 points and the first time that Buffalo will have gotten on the board. Steve Christie didn't even get a chance to attempt one from 40 earlier today because of a bad snap. This one will be from 25 yards away. Bills looking for their first points. Good snap, good put down, and the kick is good. So Wade Phillips will head to the locker room down by what appears to be at least a touchdown unless something happens here on the kickoff, with 37 seconds remaining in the second quarter. And once again, the Buffalo Bills find themselves in a hole. This one is manageable. Last couple of weeks with Oakland and Seattle, Bills played well offensively in the second half, but the problem was they were too far behind.
And I think this game, Wade Phillips, their head coach, breathes a sigh of relief. They get points on the scoreboard. Last week they were shut out, but at least, as you said, it's manageable. They're close enough where they're in striking distance going in at halftime.
9 plays, 51 yards, 1:26 came off the clock. The 25-yard field goal, that's the score for Buffalo from Steve Christie. It was Baltimore that got off to the quick start. Haven't really seen much from their offense since. And Doug Flutie and the Buffalo offense just not in sync, no rhythm.
Now, and the biggest play in that offensive drive was the personal foul from Peter Boulware on Doug Flutie, because that really kept the drive going and got him in striking distance and got him an opportunity to put points on the board.
Took them from the 30-yard line to the 15-yard line. Gave them a shot at maybe getting into the end zone. But instead, They just have 3 points to show for it. Bulwer is a heck of a player. Now in his third year, has already been to a Pro Bowl. Very versatile. Really becoming a complete linebacker. On the kick from Christie. Returnable, it's Corey Harris. Trying to slide through a hole as he got ahead to the 25-yard line. And that's where the Ravens will have it after the tackle from Sean Moran. 21-yard return. You know, NFL players aren't afraid to talk. Hear what they have to say as you relive the best quotes from NFL players and coaches. Just click on NFL Rewind at cbs.sportsline.com. 33 seconds showing on the clock until we hit halftime. A low-scoring affair with Baltimore and Buffalo. Both teams trying to snap 2-game losing streaks. Movement. And the play never gets off. Looked like Jeff Blackshear was the man to pivot forward.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 68 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
He meant 69. There's no 68 on the offensive line.
It's tough to read those numbers sometimes, but I'll tell you what, as an offensive lineman, an ex-offensive lineman, whenever you pull, you want to cheat a little bit so you can get out, and he just hopped a little bit out to get out to pull around the tackle and tight end area. You want to make the first step on the snap count. He just went a little bit early. Fourth
penalty. It has cost Baltimore 35 yards, and this is now a 1st and 15. On the ground for Rhett. Spinning his way ahead and getting back some of the yardage they lost because of the penalty. Price and Wiley combining on the stop. That could be the end of the first half. We'll see if they'll get another playoff. Marcellus Wiley may have been hurt on that play as he went to the sideline. And yes, that is going to do it. End of the first half with a score. Ravens 10, Bills 3. Join Jim, Craig, Randy, and Jerry with all the scores and highlights. The NASDAQ halftime report is coming up right after this word from your local station. Halftime here in Baltimore. Happy Halloween, everybody. 10-3, Ravens leading the Buffalo Bills as we get you ready for third quarter action. Ian Eagle along with Mark May, and I guess we probably should have expected this. Buffalo, they're used to this situation being down at halftime. The one difference this week as opposed to what they've been through the last few weeks, they're certainly in this game. Baltimore has not done enough offensively to try to get the big lead. It's only 10-3.
For both of these teams defensively, we knew that the defense would lead each one of these teams, but we didn't know if the Buffalo Bills, their ineptitude on offense, their ineptness on offense, they can't run the ball, they can't throw the ball, they can't move the ball, but at least the Baltimore Ravens came out the first couple of drives, they went down the field to play, they put points on the board, they look like a heck of an offense with Tony Banks, and then they stop. So it's just a defensive struggle out there. Each team offensively, they're both trying to find themselves.
Buffalo has played well in the second half, though, of their most recent games, the difference being that it was not a manageable number to come back from. This one is. They're down by just 7 points, and at some point you would expect Doug Flutie and this Bills offense to catch fire again. It's just not happening right now.
Well, I think without Eric Moulds and Thurman Thomas, it really affects Doug Flutie offensively. He can't come up with a big play down the field to play. And their wide receiver, Andre Reed's doing an outstanding job, but he just doesn't have that speed that he used to. He's a great route runner, but he can't come up with those big 50-yard touchdown catches as he had in the past.
So Wade Phillips continues to search. They will get it first here in the third quarter as Matt Stover kicks it off for Kevin Williams. He'll take it from the 6. Williams cutting to the outside, remaining on his feet, and walking a tightrope on the sideline as he crossed the 30-yard line and got ahead to the 33. Take a look at the first half stats. Defensive game, yes, first downs, 8 apiece. Rushing yards, really just modest numbers all the way around. The one turnover, Flutie was intercepted by Chris McAllister. At time of possession, Baltimore, because of what they did early on, able to control that category. But now really that time of possession means very little unless you do something productive with the time that you possess the football. And here's Flutie on a 1st and 10 from the 34. They'll come out throwing to Andre Reed. He's driven back as he made the catch at the 40-yard line. See where they pushed the football. Looked to be about an 8-yard gain on first down. The quarterback comparison between Doug Flutie and Tony Banks. For Flutie, 9 of 22, 84 yards. Banks got off to the quick start, now 7 of 17, 75 yards. He does have the one touchdown to former Bill, Justin Armour.
But you don't expect that from Doug Flutie. Doug Flutie's a 60% completion passer, and for him not to convert, particularly on third downs, he's only 9 for 22, but on third downs, I believe he's 3 of 9.
Call it second and short. Linton gets the call, moves ahead, and a first down run for Jonathan Linton. He had juggled the football, and Ravens fans thought there was a fumble on the play. No such luck for them. And a new set of downs for Buffalo to work with.
In the first 2 plays out of the box, they go to 2 players that have played a solid first half. Andre Reed, 4 receptions in the first half, and running back Jonathan Linton had 7 rushes, averaging over 4 yards a carry, close to 5 yards a carry. Go to your bread and butter. Joe Pendry believes that. He wants to establish the run. He was my offensive line coach for 1 year at the University of Pittsburgh. I know Joe Pendry wants to run the football.
Shotgun formation for Flutie on a 1st and 10 from the 45. Trying to get something going first drive, second half. And here's Flutie, taking it himself into Baltimore territory and down at the 43-yard line. A 12-yard scamper for Flutie. Ray Lewis had a chance to bring him down. Flutie made him miss and got some extra yardage.
Tony Zaragoza told us he's Houdini. But Jamie Sharper's got to be upset at this play. He's got him one-on-one, open field, make the tackle. I've got speed as a linebacker right there. Whoops! Flutie goes by and makes a move and picks up extra yardage. That's got to be frustrating for a defender.
Fearless Price and Kevin Williams now on the field with Remersma and Collins in a 2 tight end set. Flutie, plenty of time. It'll flip over the middle. And a catch is made inside the 40-yard line. Jonathan Linton for a 5-yard pickup. Doug Flutie throwing it into traffic, and that's one of the beauties of Doug Flutie. He can come at you a couple of different arm angles. He's been forced to do that because of his height. He'll change things up. That little flip, look at that.
Between 2 defenders, sidearm, it's almost sidearm, overhand, underhand, whatever it takes to get the job done, Doug Flutie will find a way to get you the football.
On 2nd and 5, Smith and Gash in the backfield. Antoine Smith, a rare carry here today, and that's why they've been rare. Smith just can't seem to get big yardage. A pickup of 1 as Ray Lewis made the tackle.
Now, Antoine Smith is a featured back. He wants the ball 20 to 25 times a game. He just hadn't had the opportunity to have it. They've been behind. Jonathan Linton's done an outstanding job running the football, but he just hasn't had a chance to get it going this season. Hasn't done a great job. The first game against the New York Giants, he's got over New York Jets over 100 yards, but every game after that, less carries, less yardage, less production.
And remember, he had over 1,100 yards rushing last season, so it's not as if he has a season. Was Flutie trying to do too much? He did an outstanding job avoiding the sack, but then he looked for the big play downfield. And Rod Woodson comes up with a big play of his own. A turnover to start play in the second half. .11:07 mark, third quarter. Baltimore with a 10-3 lead. And Doug Flutie with his second pick of the day. One from McAllister, the other from Woodson. And that was Flutie improvising after avoiding the sack.
Throwing it down to the heart of the defense, and Rod Woodson just makes a play on the ball from his free safety position. Doug Flutie avoided the sack. He avoided Michael McCrary, who chased him about 40 yards. Watch this move right here. He just slaps in front and spins around and avoids 2 guys trying to sack him, Peter Boulware and Michael McCrary, their best 2 sackers on the Raven defense. Then he comes around to make a big play down the field of play, but here he's got time to make a better throw. He throws it while he's running left, throwing it right, and it's difficult for a quarterback to do that.
He threw off his wrong foot. He was off balance. He threw off his wrong foot. He was hoping to make the connection with Andre Reed, but Rod Woodson stepped in front. And for Woodson, his 48th career interception. Now, I'm not trying to start a quarterback controversy, but
you will.
well, I'll just make the statement. Wade Phillips made it to us that he has 2 starting quarterbacks on his roster. He believes in Rob Johnson. That's not to say that Johnson is going to get the opportunity here in the second half, but if the losing streak continues, at what point do you start considering the possibility of Rob Johnson getting into this lineup?
I think in this game, they cannot afford to lose this game. Rob Johnson's more of a conventional type pocket pass quarterback. He'll hold on to the football, but he'll stand tall in the pocket.
Handoff for Eric Rett. And good yardage on first down of 4 as he crossed the 25 to the 26. Everett Lindsey laying out a block from the left guard position. And Baltimore getting opportunities to maybe end its 2-game losing streak.
Baltimore's played well at home. We had him against Cleveland here at home, and Brian Billick told us that his guys like to play at home. It's a great stadium. It's their environment. The one thing a new coach wants to tell his team is you have to win at home.
It's Redd again. Couldn't quite get to the 30-yard line. He picked up 3 on second down, and the Baltimore offense has been fairly predictable of late as John Holisek made the tackle. It's been run, pass. Brian Billick came over from Minnesota, where he was the offensive coordinator. A record-setting season last year with 556 points with the Vikings.
But he doesn't have the weapons. He doesn't have the Chris Carters and the Andre Reeds and Robert Smith at the running back position. He has different weapons in Baltimore, but they're not the same he had in Minnesota.
On third down, Banks slings one ahead for a first down throw. Shy of the 40-yard line. He's got that strong arm, and he got it to Ismail. 9 yards on the play.
We spoke with Kadri on Friday, and he told us his last 2 years he hadn't had a reception. It was a wilderness experience for him. It was a time that he grew and he learned about himself in the NFL. He said he paid the price, and now he knows how fortunate he is to play in this game, and he appreciates the opportunity coming to Baltimore and play. His 4th reception today, 39 yards.
Here's Banks. He avoids the sack, trying to remain on his feet, but that initial hit was enough to jar him off balance. That will count as a sack. He did not get to the line of scrimmage. He lost 4. And it looked like Sam Cowart was the man that made contact. Let's take another look. It was Cowart.
Cowart comes in on the blitz, forces Tony Banks out of the pocket. Big Ted Washington falls on him for the sack.
So what do you go, half and half there, Cowart and Washington?
I guarantee Ted says, no, it's my sack.
Oh, Cowart deserves credit for that.
He'll get a half a sack.
And that would be his first of the season. On 2nd and 14. Banks able to get it off for Chuck Evans. Not much of a gainer. Picked up only 3, but it could have been a huge loss. Phil Hansen applied the hit, and Evans is slow to get up. He is grabbing at that right knee. He was limping earlier, but Evans was able to come back onto the field. Now he needs medical attention. Breaking the action. Chuck Evans able to walk off the field. They are looking at that right knee area, so Obafemi Ayanbadejo steps in at fullback. On a 3rd and 11 out of the shotgun, Banks. Line of scrimmage is the 38. Bills are showing blitz. Here they come. Banks unloads under some pressure. And incomplete. Ismail, the intended receiver. Ken Irvin trampled him down. It was behind him, though. Banks heard footsteps, and he saw white jerseys.
A lot of white jerseys. The Buffalo Bills go right at him. They blitz him, and the ball's thrown behind him. And it's timing between his wide receiver and himself. They hadn't had a lot of time to work together, but the Bills are starting to attack right at the line of scrimmage.
5th punt for Kyle Richardson, averaging better than 46 yards per punt in the game, over 42 yards per punt this season. Kevin Williams, an 11-yard average on punt returns. He will let this one bounce. And a great save. Billy Davis got there before it floated into the end zone. And just like they were early in the game, Buffalo has been pinned back. 57-yard punt from Richardson. Bills will have to go the length of the field. They trail Baltimore 10-3 in the 3rd. Baltimore up by a touchdown coming up Monday on CBS. How do you enjoy a romantic weekend getaway when your best friend is next door and the walls are paper thin? Find out in an all-new King of Queens. That's Monday on CBS. Bills offense, as if they needed more pressure, now has to go 95 yards to tie this game up. A 1st and 10 and their own 5, trailing 10-3, 8:09 to play in the third. Flutie off of play action. Bounces one just to the side of Andre Reed, incomplete. 2 players are slow to get up. Rod Woodson, one, and the other Deron Jenkins. Jenkins came in with a hamstring problem to start with, and he's been able to go the entire day.
And both players slipped on the turf. When they tried to make a break on the ball, they both slipped on the field. It's slippery out there. They could have strained a groin.
I know you love this stadium. What do you think of this field in particular?
I think it's outstanding. I think when you look at this field, I love this stadium. Obviously, we talked about that before, but going out on the field, there are a lot of spots out there that are absolutely perfect to play football. Some fields have the crown in it. You get some divots in there the farther you go along the season, but they've done an outstanding job with this field.
Out by the sideline area, that's where it gets a little ugly.
It's a little wet out there and it's a little slippery, and you hope it would drain off. It looked like it was going to be a sunny day, but all of a sudden it got overcast for a couple hours, particularly in the first half, and that's where it's probably damp on the side, and that's where both players were there, closer to the sidelines.
Just about a third of the field is under sunlight right now. You see it at the top of your screen. On a 2nd and 10, Jonathan Linton could not turn the football inside. No gain on 2nd down. It'll be 3rd and 10 coming up. Right now, though, we head to New York and Jim Nantz.
Ian, back to Ian Mark.
Well, the first one has to come sometime. And each week, you feel like Cleveland has an opportunity, but something seems to happen to them. This one looked like an even matchup before this Sunday got underway, as the Browns look for the first win of their new era. Bills looking to end a 2-game losing streak. This is a 3rd and 10, and Flutie running himself, trying to angle to the marker. He didn't get there. Ray Lewis chased him down, one of the speediest linebackers in the NFL, going against one of the quickest quarterbacks in this league.
And that's what's called closing speed. We talked with Brian Billick earlier. He said it's going to be a tremendous matchup, the speed of our linebackers against Doug Flutie and his escapability. Flutie's got a great chance here to make a big play. Gets excellent blocking up front. He gets 3.5 to 4 seconds. That's what a quarterback needs to make a play. Pulls it down and runs, but Ray Lewis right there closes and lunges right at the very end and makes the tackle short of the 1st down.
You take another linebacker on that play, they probably do not force Buffalo to punt, because Flutie would, odds are, get that 1st down. And great field position for Baltimore. Lewis on the fair catch at the 45-yard line of Buffalo after the 32-yard punt from Moore. Ray Lewis likes it. He likes the scoreboard as well. 10-3 Ravens. For the second time today, Baltimore's starting field position is on Buffalo's side of the field. No, this one has not been pretty. But both of these coaches in desperate need of a win. Brian Billick just trying to keep this season going. Eric Rett pushing the pile ahead across the 40-yard line. That is where he excels. For a small guy running in between the tackles the way that he does, it tells you a little bit something about him. Bruised right knee for Chuck Evans. His return is questionable right now. He is the blocking back for Eric Rett, who just picked up 6.
And Eric Rett won't be fancy. He'll take the ball. He'll hit the hole straight ahead. He's not going to juke in the hole. He's going to get positive yardage when he touches the football.
Since the first quarter, we have seen little from this Baltimore offense. We have seen, though, a lot of Eric Rett. And this time, Buffalo was ready. They spun him down at the 40-yard line. Gabe Northern, first man there. And then the rest of the Bills defense in on the play, setting up a 3rd and 5.
Buffalo defense is platooning their defensive front. They're taking Bruce Smith out on 1st downs to rest him up, putting Marcellus Wiley in there, bringing in Hanson on 3rd down and Smith on 3rd down to rush the passer to keep him healthy. Ted Critell, their defensive coordinator, wants to alternate these guys. He wants to keep them fresh in the 4th quarter, so Bruce Smith has his burst in the 4th quarter when he can attack the passer.
The defense is keeping Buffalo in this game. Here's Banks in the pocket. Sideline throw, caught by Lewis and a 1st down. Antoine Winfield had the coverage. And for Jermaine Lewis, that is his first catch of the afternoon. They needed 5, they got 6.
And what a job by Jermaine Lewis. First juggling the ball, but then twisting his body to get the first down. He's just fighting to get away from Antoine Winfield, but right there just turning for the first down. That's outstanding play. They need to get him involved in the offense. He was their big play man a year ago. This year they haven't been able to get him the football. He's a big play player that can stretch the defense, but his problem is he's small, and at the line of scrimmage, when they press in his face, he can't get off the line of scrimmage.
On 1st and 10, Rhett with a head of steam. Flag comes down. Line of scrimmage, the 34, and Rhett got just across it. Doesn't matter. Pat Williams made the stop. Penalty against Baltimore. Jeff Triplett trying to get the exact number of the player.
Holding on the offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
13-year veteran Harry Swain out of Rutgers. He gets called on the hold. 5 penalties now, 45 yards. Swain with those 3 Super Bowl appearances. 2 rings as a member of the Broncos. Now a 1st and 20 from the 44. They back him up 10 yards with Rhett in the backfield. Banks to throw it. Under some pressure. Flushed out. Running left. Throwing on the run. Incomplete. Justin Armour had it, but could not grab hold of it.
That's surprising about Justin Armour. He's been an excellent receiver for the Ravens this year. A big target at 6'4". Couldn't come down with the reception. He has the height advantage against Thomas Smith, but at the end of the play, he couldn't come down with the ball. Thomas Smith with his hands on him pushes him off. He's got to come back for the football. And just can't come up with a reception.
Bad sign also when you're a possession receiver and you don't possess the football. That's usually one of the important elements.
You should try to come up with the football.
2nd and 20 now. Banks throwing it out of bounds to the sideline. Williams and Wiley applying some pressure. .420 mark, 3rd quarter. 10-3, Baltimore leading Buffalo. These two offenses have really been struggling.
They've both been struggling, but what I do like about Tony Banks is decision-making. Hasn't forced a lot of balls in trouble territory, has gotten rid of the balls when he had to. He's had confidence in his offensive line to wait out routes.
I want to welcome those of you who have been watching Kansas City and San Diego. A touchdown difference here. Long ball thrown. Banks to the end zone. Incomplete. Ismail felt that he was interfered with in double coverage. Porter and Smith combining on that far side, and Ismail has had a frustrating day. Baltimore forced to punt. And their 6th punt of the afternoon.
Well, they've been letting him play all day. His hands are on him. Thomas Smith's hands are on him, but you have to fight through that. He's got to grab on his outside shoulder. It should be a penalty, but they're letting him play on the outside. And Kadri Ismail has to fight through that and come up with a play.
No flag on the play, and the fans here just saw it. Thomas Smith got away with one. Kevin Williams waiting. Allows it to bounce again. This time it will trickle into the end zone. Baltimore special teams on 2 occasions were able to down it inside the 5. Ismail and the Baltimore offense having some problems, but they still lead by 7. A tight game here in Baltimore with 4:02 remaining in the 3rd quarter. 10-3, the Ravens leading the Bills. Both of these teams trying to snap 2-game losing streaks. This has certainly not been a thing of beauty offensively for either club, as Buffalo looks to get something going on the offensive end with Doug Flutie. A 1st and 10 from the 20. Handoff to Jonathan Litton, cutting it back inside and moving ahead just shy of the 30-yard line. Looks like a gain of 9, and he came up just short of a first down depending upon the marker.
I think Jonathan Litton's had his best runs to the left side of the Buffalo offensive side and the right side of the Baltimore defensive line. They should just hammer that continually throughout the game because that's the only place they're making positive yardage running the football.
Rob Burnett is the injured Raven on his back. Stops the clock with 3:43 to play in the third quarter. Take a look at the game summary. Doug Flutie. It has been a struggle for him. Flutie is 10 of 25 throwing the football, 2 interceptions today. Banks got off to a great start, but has cooled off to the point where he is 10 of 24 throwing the football. He does have the 1 touchdown, but it came on their second possession. They have done very little offensively, Baltimore, since that second possession. Buffalo has done very little offensively since the opening kick. Keith Washington steps in for the injured Rob Burnett on the defensive line for Baltimore. Handoff. Jonathan Litton has enough for the first down as he gets across the 30-yard line. Right now, let's head to New York, an NFL Today report, and Jim Nance.
Well, look at this, folks. The ball bounces around and is picked off by Derek Thomas. The first interception of his career. It's hard to believe, but career interception number 1. Kansas City pouring it on today as we go back now to Ian and Mark.
You know, Jim, that is hard to believe. You'd assume that somewhere along the way in his Pro Bowl career, Derek Thomas would have gotten a pick, but mark the day down, Halloween '99. Thomas, his first interception. Flutie throwing. Deep ball down the sideline for Price, and a flag down. The flag came right in front of Brian Billick, who was beside himself on the call. Deron Jenkins had the coverage of Price.
Pass interference. Defense, number 25. Automatic first down.
Jenkins called for the pass interference.
And cornerbacks are taught this. They use it. It's called a bar arm. Stick your arm across the wide receiver while you turn and look for the ball. He doesn't turn and look for the ball. He gets there too early. He's got the arm out there like a bar. He gets there early. That's why he's called for the penalty.
Good call.
Good call.
It costs Baltimore's defense 32 yards. And finally, Buffalo has something going offensively. Flutie weaving his way inside and falling down to the turf at the 32-yard line. Tony Siragusa got him down low after a 4-yard gain for Flutie.
Now, and it's interesting. Doug Flutie says he never looks to run the football. He always looks to pass first. If it's there, I'll take it. When he played in Canada, he said they always call 8 or 9 plays every game to run the ball. We don't do that here in Buffalo, maybe once or twice.
He actually told us, and I was surprised by the statement, that he thought the CFL was more physically demanding for him than the NFL.
Maybe for a quarterback.
On 2nd and 6. Antoine Smith cannot break free. Michael McCrary getting him down low around the shoelaces. And Smith just can't bust one. 5 carries, 4 yards for Smith this afternoon.
And he needs to get generated offensively, 15 to 20 touches. He's just not getting that, but he doesn't have an opportunity here. Whenever you catch the ball and there's purple jerseys in your face before you can make a move, you're not going to get positive yardage. And that's not all Antoine Smith's fault. It's the offensive line up front not blocking the defensive line.
On 3rd and 8 from the 35, can the Baltimore defense rise to the occasion again in the waning moments of the third quarter? Flutie with a long count, some movement. Flutie, quick throw. Stepping in front, intercepted. Dwayne Starks. 3rd pick of the day for Flutie. Every time the Baltimore team has needed a big play, this defense has stepped forward.
That's Marvin Lewis, the defensive coordinator, but Dwayne Starks anticipates his pass. As soon as Doug Flutie sits in the pocket, turns and plants, he breaks on the football because he turns his head. He's looking right at him right there. But Starks breaks on the football right in front of the wide receiver. That's outstanding coverage by Starks. Read Flutie's eyes, looked at the ball, looked at the quarterback, intercepted the ball.
Andre Reed, the intended receiver for Starks. First interception of the season. And it goes along with an earlier pick from Chris McAllister and Rod Woodson. Baltimore takes over off the turnover, 1st and 10, 36. Strong arm. Underthrowing though, Banks was looking for Justin Armour. Doug Flutie's numbers. First 5 games, he had the 3 interceptions. They went 4-1 behind his 6 touchdowns. Since then, 3 touchdown passes, 8 interceptions. They're looking for their first win since. And Rob Johnson, who is being paid $5 million to be a backup quarterback, sits and waits. Will he get his turn here today? On the draw play for Rhett. And Sam Rogers making the tackle after a gain of 2.
And for Rob Johnson, here's a quarterback. We talked to Wade Phillips, the head coach. He said, hey, I've got 2 starting quarterbacks in the NFL, and if I have to, I will use them. But Rob Johnson's the type of quarterback, he needs to get in there. I think there's a point in time when you have to win a game, when your number 1 quarterback's not doing the job, then you put number 1A in.
Well, 1A is on the sidelines, and it doesn't look as if 1A is going to get into this game, at least not now. Under a minute to play in the 3rd. Flag down, Banks with plenty of time, and he throws it out of bounds. Marker on the field. A bunch of penalties on Baltimore today.
Offside defense, number 78, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
This one against Bruce Smith, the 3rd Buffalo penalty, costing them 20 yards.
And that's uncharacteristic of Bruce Smith, the 15-year veteran, to line up in the neutral zone. But he said this game is crucial. After last week, they had a bunch of blown assignments, penalties, and mistakes. And here's a guy that's the leader of this defense. He needs to come up with a big play. Only 2 sacks this season for Bruce Smith. He needs to get some sacks today to get this defense at least in a mind mold where they can get emotionally sound and emotionally lifted. They were just playing flat.
Scary thought. Bruce Smith is on pace to register 5 sacks this season.
That's incredible. He's had year after year of 10-plus sacks. It's amazing.
3rd and 3. First down catch made by Ismail, but a flag down. He is tackled inside the 45. And this one is working against Baltimore. So finally the Ravens offense coming up with a crucial play.
Pass interference. Offense, number 87, 10-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
And that is the 2nd time that Qadri Ismail has been called on offensive pass interference.
And he's cost his offense twice. Right there, he pushes off before he makes his move on the football. You can't do that. When you're down a field of play, you have to hint, squat down, make your move, but you can't push off the defenders. They're going to catch you every time in the open field because that's what they're looking for.
Ken Irvin lost his footing after the push-off. It is now 3rd and 13. "19 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. Dropping back, setting up the screen. Eric Rett didn't have enough room to work with as he got ahead to the 41-yard line, short of a first down. They picked up 8. They needed 13. And Baltimore will punt once again. No scoring in the 3rd quarter, and that will wrap up the period with Baltimore in front 10-3. We're back after this message and a word from your local station. Start of the 4th quarter here in Baltimore. Ian Eagle, Mark Bay, our entire CBS crew, as the Ravens will punt it away on a 4th and 5, leading Buffalo 10-3. Bills are 4-3, coming off the 26-16 loss in Seattle. Ravens are 2-4. And the punt from Richardson. Kevin Williams, the fair catch at the 12. A 47-yard punt to start play in the 4th. Buffalo looking for a spark offensively. They trail by 7. Start of play in the 4th quarter. Baltimore 10, Buffalo 3. Doug Flutie started the game 4 of 6. Since then, 6 of 20. 2 interceptions to tack on to the one that he had early on. Spread offense with 5 receivers. Rob Burnett back in the game for Baltimore defensively. Flutie trying to catch Baltimore's defense napping. He didn't. Michael McCrary brought him down.
And the Baltimore defense wanted to attack Doug Flutie up the gut. Get pressure in the middle. For Doug Flutie, this is a called play. This is called from the sidelines. It's called in. Doug Flutie tries to run the quarterback draw, but there's no chance Michael McCrary is there to make the stop.
This Baltimore defense comes in ranked 5th in the NFL. They have been very impressive this afternoon. Buffalo offense can't seem to get out of its own way. Flutie on 2nd and long, airing it out. Knocked in the air and incomplete. Peerless Price, the intended receiver. Dwayne Stark stepped in and nearly created another turnover.
And I think Doug Flutie's misjudging the speed and the quickness of the Baltimore Raven defense. He lays this pass out. There's not a lot on this pass. He's trying to thread it between his own, but Starks makes a play on the ball right at the end. It's the speed of this Baltimore defense. They drafted early. Everybody in this entire defense, from linebackers to secondary, are number 1 or number 2 picks. The only ones that aren't are the defensive line.
You might have to start looking at the arm strength of Flutie as well. 37 years old. Maybe time is beginning to catch up to it. On a 3rd and 11. Bills down by a touchdown, movement and flags. It looked like Robert Hicks, the starting right tackle, number 77.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 77 to the offense. Half the distance to the goal. Remains 3rd down.
9, this is just concentration. You're playing on the road in a hostile environment. You have to concentrate. Get the snap count, get up to the line of scrimmage, snap it, and let's go. But when you're on the road, it's difficult. Robert Hicks not concentrating, looking at the defense. He's got to hold up in there before the snap count.
And these fans are getting into it. They booed this team in the second half last week, Thursday night game, in the loss to Kansas City. The crowd has bounced back because of what it says on the scoreboard. On a 3rd and 16. 5 receivers for Flutie. Quick throw. Makes the connection to Peerless Price, but not nearly enough for a first down. Kim Herring was there underneath to make the stop after 8 yards through the air.
And the Buffalo offense knew they weren't going to get the first down. They just wanted to pick up some yardage, some field possession yardage, at least give your punter an opportunity to kick the ball instead of being deep in the end zone. But Doug Flutie is jumping over the line of scrimmage just to complete passes.
Another chance for the Baltimore team, special teams, and offense to make something happen. They should get it in great field position. Moore with a high punt. Lewis, fair catch signal. Why is the question. He had plenty of room in front of him, and he brought it in at the 45-yard line. 10-3, Baltimore. The Baltimore defense has not allowed a 100-yard rusher or a 100-yard receiver this season. And they are living up to their high ranking here today, holding Buffalo to just 3 points. Can the Ravens offense put some points on the board here in the second half? That's the next question. Field position at their own 45 on a 1st and 10. Faking the handoff. Banks off of play action, throwing the long ball. Ismail was there, and it's incomplete. Thomas Smith defensively, with Schultz coming over at the last moment.
Kadri Ismail's having a tough day today. Thomas Smith is playing him tough, but he has to stop the complaining and just play football. It's tough out there in the NFL. Both players are going to fight for the football. Right here, he gets a little bump at the end of the play, but that's a clean play.
So 2nd and 10. Ismail was stumbling backwards. There's no penalty there. On 2nd down, movement from Washington.
And one thing about Big Ted, once he moves before the ball snap, he's not getting back.
You'd say he's committed?
He's committed. Once he crosses that plane, forget about it.
It's hard to miss him as well. It's not as if he can just lean backwards to the defensive line and assume nobody saw it.
He's not going to hide out there. That's a big man.
Listed at 325 pounds.
Offside defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
I think that's 92, 93 is Pat Williams. That's Ted Washington. But I'll tell you what, Big Ted, at 325, he must be paying somebody in the PR department off. It has to be. Remember, as a player with the Washington Redskins, you went in there as a rookie, you were 285 pounds. 10 years later, you were 285 pounds.
Just never changed.
Yeah, never changed. As long as you're 350, it's 280 pounds.
Clock is moving as we hit the 13-minute mark, fourth quarter. On 2nd and 5, Banks trying to sidestep, floats one upstairs, and intercepted. Kurt Schultz down the sideline, and finally brought down inside the 35. We spoke with Brian Billick. He told us the only thing he didn't want to hear from Tony Banks when he came to the sideline was, "Coach, I was just trying to make a play." This might qualify as one of those situations where Banks could have just eaten the ball.
And it's a relentless rush. A quarterback has to feel the pressure. He averts that one. Now throw the ball away. It looks like he's trying to throw it away. Just doesn't have enough on the ball to get it to the sidelines. But Tony Banks gets nailed on the play. Cowart going over the top. Gabe Norvin right in his face. But at the end, it's Phil Hansen giving him a shoulder to the helmet.
By far the best field position Buffalo has seen all day. A 1st and 10 at the Baltimore 34. Gash and Linton in the backfield. Handoff. Linton tried that left side, and Baltimore was there. Did not even get to the line of scrimmage as Peter Boulware came firing over. Coming up Friday on CBS, imagine a drug so powerful it could control the entire population of New York. How can one man save 8 million people at once? It's a mesmerizing, all new, now and again. See the show that everybody's talking about. Friday on CBS. The Tony Banks, who had not really distinguished himself since the first quarter, but he had avoided mistakes. That's why Baltimore has the 10-3 lead until that era. 2nd and 11. Play clock is winding down. Flutie out of the shotgun. Stepping forward on the rush. Low throw. He couldn't get it to Riemersma. 3rd and 11 coming up.
Now, and the reason why on that play, pressure came right in Doug Flutie's face by Michael McCrary. He got away from the offensive line. They couldn't protect him. It's supposed to be a quick hitter. He gets the ball, throws it. The offensive line try to block right at the line of scrimmage. A pressure block. But right there, McCrary makes an outstanding swim move, and he beats Jamie Nails and John Fina to the inside.
Is this great defense we're seeing here today, or is it just shaky offense?
A little bit of both, but it's fantastic defense. Baltimore, their entire defense. Marv Lewis, their defensive coordinator, has done a great job of getting this defense fired up. 5th in the NFL, but they play up on the line of scrimmage. Their linebackers are outstanding, and their defensive secondary is one of the best.
Flutie takes a timeout with 12:08 to play in the 4th. And a big 3rd down for the Buffalo Bills when we come back to Baltimore. Back in Baltimore, gorgeous day here with the Ravens in front 10-3. Bills are threatening. Brian Billick's team has been nursing that 7-point lead for seemingly the entire afternoon. And now Buffalo faces a 3rd and 11. 7 defensive backs for Baltimore defensively. 5 receivers for Doug Flutie to work with. On a rollout, little shovel pass ahead for Kevin Williams. Baltimore was there, prepared and ready. Ray Lewis. 3rd down conversions. It's been an adventure for both teams. So far today, they are 7 of 28 combined, these two teams are, on 3rd down.
And that's obvious not getting the job done on either team, but the speed of this defense for Baltimore, their youth of the secondary and the linebackers, there's no way that they're giving a chance for the Buffalo Bills offense to get anything going.
And they're going for it on 4th down. They are 5 of 7 on 4th down conversions. 4th and 7 from the 31. This crowd is energized. Flutie in the pocket, flushed out. Flutie on the move. Throwing on the run to the sideline. Caught. Kevin Williams. 1st down pass inside the 20. 13 yards through the air, and Doug Flutie created some extra time for himself.
His escapability is what does it, but Kevin Williams stays with his quarterback. Here he's flushed out by Michael McCrary, runs to his right, but Kevin Williams stays with his quarterback. He slips down on the play, gets back up, and catches the ball for the first down, but Doug Flutie being able to throw on the run, and throw on the run as good as anyone else in the NFL.
It was Williams working on Deron Jenkins, and now a 1st and 10 from the 18. Motion man is Jackson. Flutie, short drop, quick throw on a slant, flag comes down. Peerless Price, the intended receiver. And Chris McAllister is voicing his opinion. 22-year-old rookie.
Pass interference, defense, number 28, automatic first down.
Just a slant pattern by Peerless Price. It'll let you touch the wide receiver in the first 5 yards, then you have to get off him. It's just past the 5-yard plane. Maybe the 6-yard line. That was a very close call, but that's why Chris McAllister's upset on that call.
That's a shaky flag.
That is, it's very close. 5.5 yards, you kind of let it go in there. The 6-yard area, you let it go, but that was very close, and Brian Billick knows it.
8 penalties now called on Baltimore, costing them 93 yards. Bills can still get a first down. It's a 1st and 10 from the 12. They get the play off on a bootleg. Throw underneath the coverage. Riemersma angling his way out of bounds as he got to the 5-yard line. Rod Woodson was one of the Baltimore defenders there to force him out. Clock is moving with 10:32 left.
And this is an open boot. If you're a linebacker on the outside, you've got dealer's choice. You cover the tight end or you rush the quarterback. If you rush the quarterback, you better get there. If not, someone in the secondary has to pick up the tight end. That's what happened on the play. Jay Riemersma got open, got positive yardage for the offense.
2nd and 3 from the 5. Antoine Smith in the backfield. It's Smith getting the call, putting the helmet down, and then pushed backwards. He did get a couple. Looks like they will call him down right around the 4, depending upon the spot. Ray Lewis and Jamie Sharper making the tackle.
And those great linebackers for Baltimore. Ray Lewis reading the play, taking on the block of Sam Gash and getting in on the tackle. He's a tough competitor. I love Ray Lewis. He's a throwback type linebacker.
12 tackles today. He came in with 86 total tackles on the season. Another 3rd down. 3rd and a yard. Flutie. Inside handoff. Litton trying to squeeze through. He's got the first down. Michael McCrary wrapping him up. But now the Bills have the full 4 downs to work with inside the 2.
And Buffalo rarely pulls, but on that play, 355-pound Jamie Nails pulls, clears the way for Smith. But in this area, it's so condensed. You have a lot of bodies. They want to rush Doug Flutie and put pressure on Doug Flutie, but it's an outstanding call by Joe Pendry. It's a little draw trap play right up the middle for the first down.
Touchdowns have been at a premium for these two teams today on a 1st and goal. Flutie in trouble and sacked. Rob Burnett. Flags come down after the play, after these two teams got into it. Bills players were upset that they wouldn't let Flutie get up. The 2nd Baltimore sack. Injury on the play, it's Rod Woodson. Woodson is on his knees at the 3-yard line. They'll have to sort out the flags as well. It took place after the sack from Rob Burnett. Maybe the Bills got a little too cute on that play call. 1st and goal inside the 2.
You read my mind, Ian. I thought on this play they go for the play action pass. They just slam the ball in there. 2 yards, 1.5 yards. They're so close to the goal line. Stick with your bread and butter. Let your big 300-plus pound offensive line push the defense into the end zone and get the touchdown.
Personal foul against Buffalo. So instead of having it, 2nd and goal from the 10.
Wow, this is very costly.
They were just inches away from a game-tying touchdown, and they're going to back this ball up. Jeff Triplett.
During the continuing action, personal foul, number 70 in the offense. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the tackle. Still first down.
It is John Fina, the left tackle, costing his team 15 yards. Here's another look at the play.
And it's bad enough that you give up the sack. You can't get the block from Robert Hicks on Rob Burnett, but at the end of the play, getting a personal foul, you're right there on the goal line ready to score, and you're knocked back, and it's going to be a situation where they're going to have to go with the regular offense. The jumbo offense is gone. They're back to the regular offense.
This should be second down. Jeff Triplett said first down. This should be second down. It came after the play. And I think these officials are going to huddle up right now and determine that it is second down. It is second down. Triplett keeps saying it's first down. Unless I'm misinterpreting things, it took place after the sack. Why does Buffalo get another down here?
It did. That's what Brian Billick's trying to find out. He's asking the same question.
And they are playing with this being first down for Buffalo. First and goal from the 24. Jonathan Litton in the backfield. Flutie stepping up in the pocket. Flutie running on his own and swung down shy of the 20-yard line by Ray Lewis.
And Ian, this Buffalo offense and Doug Flutie, they've got to figure out Ray Lewis is playing the rabbit killer. He's staying at home. If Doug Flutie rolls out of the pocket, he's rolling with Doug Flutie. He's in the middle of the defense. He's looking at the middle of the offense, and that's why Doug Flutie cannot get out of the way. Here's Ray Lewis. He's going to follow Doug Flutie. He's going to shovel to the side. He's got the back, but he keeps his eyes on Flutie. Forget the back. I'm going after the quarterback. I can outrun him. I'm faster than Doug Flutie. I'll tackle him, and he did.
The referee's call was that it was continuous action on that penalty, and that's why they called it first down.
I disagree.
Flutie on a handoff for Litton, trying to burst through the middle. And it looked for a moment as if he had a chance to break it. He got across the 15-yard line to the 8. 8-yard gain to the 14. It will be third and goal.
The one thing this game gives us, not a lot of high scoring, but you see two teams battling, fighting every play. You're getting the best out of every player on each play, particularly the defense, the Bills defense and the Baltimore Ravens defense.
Well, this drive is chewing up a lot of the clock for Buffalo, the 11th play. They need a touchdown for a tie on a third and goal from the 14. Flutie back. Flutie. Sacked again. Michael McCrary finally gets off the schneid. After not registering a sack for 3 straight games, he comes up with a pivotal one here in the fourth quarter today.
We spoke with Tony Saragusa. He said they wanted to attack up the middle. Watch McCrary. He's going to start off, go right in the middle. He fights over Jamie Nails. He's got his head down. Then he comes right up the gut of the offense, over the center area, and no one can block him from there, and it's a sack for the Ravens defense.
39-yard field goal attempt for Steve Christie as he bangs it through. The Bills get closer, but they do not get the touchdown that they needed. Ravens 10, Buffalo 6. We're back in Baltimore after this. A rather obscure 12-play, 13-yard drive, taking up 6 minutes and 36 seconds. Michael McCrary with a sack to force Buffalo into a field goal situation. His first sack in nearly 5 weeks, and his third of the season. It's 10-6 Ravens. Bills will kick it off with 6:21 on the clock. Number of penalties called on the drive, including one that still remains a mystery to me how they came up with it. John Fina, personal foul, but they ruled it continuous action. That's why Buffalo got it on first down. Let's take another look at that play that we're alluding to right now.
And it's incredible because they were down. Everybody's down. Here's Fina right there. They're down.
Play's whistled dead already.
It's whistled dead. He's trying to get them off the pile. I just don't understand that.
So Buffalo got the extra down to work with, but they couldn't do anything with it. And Brian Billick's squad trying to end a 2-game losing streak. They have a run of 3 straight road games coming up after this matchup today. They'll be in Cleveland, in Jacksonville, and in Cincinnati. Matchups in that AFC Central. On the kickoff from Christie, Corey Harris. Harris is driven down at the 25-yard line after the 19-yard return. Keon Carpenter, the first man there on special teams. Baltimore trying to use up some clock with a 10-6 advantage. First ever regular season meeting between the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. It's 10-6, Ravens with the lead, and a 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Give it off for Eric Rett. On the ground, using clock, but they've got to get yardage after they picked up just 3. Joe Cummings making the tackle. Jimmy Johnson has finally found the man to carry the Dolphins running game. It's Cecil Collins. Check it out in depth only on NFL.com. Brian Billick going with his 3rd quarterback in his team's 7th game of the season. And it's Tony Banks. A turnover cost this Baltimore team 3 points as the Bills got a field goal. Ismail comes back for the football, curls in for the first down. Tackled at the 44-yard line by Ken Irvin, 15 yards through the air.
And a wonderful job by Kadri Ismail of running his route, staying with his route, turning for the ball, now making something happen after the catch, getting positive yardage.
And the clock is moving. We will hit the 5-minute mark of the 4th quarter.
And this is an area offensively, get first downs, move the ball, but definitely milk the clock. Take as much time off as possible. Take the snap with 2 or 3 seconds to go on the clock.
Banks sends Armour in motion. Handoff for Rett. Putting his head down as he hit the hole at the 45, got to the 46 for a gain of 3. Coward and Northern were there to make the stop.
And Eric Rett hasn't had a real big day today, but he's done what they've asked him to. When he had to run the ball between the tackles, he's taken the ball and slammed it between the tackles and put pressure on their defense. 23 rushes, 70 yards, not a banner day, but a pretty good day, a solid day of controlling the football.
And this is where he's going to earn his money in the 4th quarter with the clock moving. Banks on a give for Rett, spinning forward and got 3. Looks like they'll spot it right around the 49-yard line. Phil Hansen with a tackle. It'll be 3rd and 4.
And his best yards have been right in the middle, and it's not over Ted Washington. What the center, Jeff Mitchell, has done is he's gotten Ted Washington to move 2 or 3 steps, and Eric Rett's taken the ball from the right side and cut it back over the middle, or from the left side and cut the ball back over the middle. That's why he's gotten most of his yards over the middle.
Will they go to the air here on a 3rd and 4? Play action, they will. Banks stepping forward and running. Banks will tuck it, loses the football. He fumbled it. Buffalo scoops it up with Sam Rogers. Gabe Northern knocked it free. As huge a turnover as you will see. Banks coughed it up, and Buffalo is in business at the Baltimore 45.
A tremendous play by Gabe Northern. He came over the side with the chop, knocking the ball out. And Tony Banks, another fumble, his 47th of his career. And Brian Billick told us he didn't want to hear from Tony Banks. I was just trying to make something happen. Here, he's just trying to make something happen. He sees the rush, runs out of the pocket, but right there, the chop over his shoulder, knocks the ball loose. Pretty play by Gabe Northern. That's what you want to do when you're trailing a running back. He doesn't know where you are. Just put your arm over the top and chop the ball and knock it through.
The sad part for Tony, he had the first down a couple yards earlier. If he just smothered the football at that point, went down, they've got a new set of downs to work with. Instead, the Baltimore defense needs to step forward. Flutie throwing to Peerless Price. And a first down for Buffalo as he was spun ahead across the 35-yard line for an 11-yard pass play.
And Peerless Price is a second-half player. Last week didn't have a catch in the first half, came up big in the second half, but he's feeling more and more comfortable. He says he's got pre-game jitters early in the game and jitters in the first half, but he feels like he's part of the offense as far as the game goes on. The longer the game goes on, the more comfortable he feels. 3 receptions, 26 yards.
Flutie trying to rally this Buffalo team on a 1st and 10 from the 34. Sidearm throw, incomplete, gash the intended man. Ray Lewis with the coverage.
Wow. Did you see that pass? That wasn't a pass, that was like a baseball throw. Zing! He had a lot of zip on it too. But Doug Flutie right there, he can't get it over the defensive line, so he goes between them. That's amazing. That's magic, what he does on the football field.
As for Tony Banks, he started the season 3rd on the depth chart. Finally got the opportunity he was looking for. And right now he can only watch and hope that his team's defense can do the job. With 2:48 on the clock, 10-6 Ravens. 2nd and 10 for Buffalo. Flutie out of the shotgun from the Baltimore 34. Flags come down. Flutie thinking it's a free play, throwing the ball long, and the play was whistled dead. The clock had struck 0, the play clock, and they didn't get it off in time.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 77, the offense. 5-yard penalty remains 2nd down.
Called it on Robert Hicks. Pick your poison on that play. With the clock winding down, they get Hicks on the false start.
Now, and this is a time in the offensive huddle, someone has to step up for the Buffalo Bills. Hey, we need to get this ball in the end zone. Somebody's got to tell the rest of the players in that huddle that somebody's got to step up. The entire team's got to come together. We've got to cross the plane to the goal line. Same thing on the Baltimore defense, the Ravens defense. I'm sure Ray Lewis is telling those guys, don't let them get a first down. Let's stop them the next 2 plays and the game's over.
The penalty will help the Baltimore defense, setting up a 2nd and 15. 7 penalties for Buffalo, 50 yards. Linton in the backfield. Flutie. Backpedaling in the pocket and deflected. He has had a couple of balls knocked down at the line of scrimmage. This time it was Fernando Smith. 3rd and 15 for Buffalo.
And Doug Flutie's had a tough time the last 3 weeks. He's had a bunch of passes knocked down. At least 14 passes in the last 3 weeks. When he runs close to the line of scrimmage, there's no way somebody 5'9" is going to be able to throw the ball over a 6'5" defensive lineman with his hands in the air.
Buffalo 4 for 16 on 3rd down conversions today. This is a 3rd and 15. Fans coming to their feet here in Baltimore. Bills trailing 10-6. Flutie in the pocket. Scrambling out of trouble, setting himself up. Incomplete. Lunging attempt by Kevin Williams. It would have been short of a first down, but it would have set up 4th and a yard, yard and a half. Do they go for it on 4th and 15 with 2:36 to play?
I think in this situation you have to. You don't have a kicker with a strong enough leg to get it there and give you another chance at going at it to make it 10-9. But here's the situation. They've got to pick up big yardage. Doug Flutie hasn't thrown the ball long vertically the entire day. He's thrown it short. Short outs, across the middle short, but he hasn't gone deep with the football.
Play clock winding down, and they get a timeout. Buffalo will have just 1 remaining. Clock is stopped with 2:36 showing in the 4th. And a timeout called by the Bills. Baltimore still has 3 left, Buffalo with just 1. Both teams suffering through 2-game losing streaks. Bills have won 3 straight games against AFC Central opponents. In fact, Doug Flutie has never lost a start against an AFC Central team with a record of 6-0. .236 to play in the 4th. Baltimore 10, Buffalo 6, and a 4th and 15 for this Bills offense that has done very little. I want to welcome those of you who have been watching Kansas City and San Diego. This one coming down to the wire with Doug Flutie trying to work some late game magic. On a 4th and 15 from the 39. Flutie has time. Flutie surveying the scene. Pump fake. Flutie looking to run it. Flutie angling towards the marker. He gets there. First down run for Flutie. Down at the 21-yard line. He picked up 16 yards. And enough to keep this drive alive.
Doug Flutie played the Raven defense like a fiddle. He sat back in the pocket. They only rushed 3. He let them drop deeper. He picked up blockers down the field of play. There's Fina on the outside. Down the field is Jonathan Linney picking up a block for him. Outstanding by Doug Flutie.
Out of the shotgun. Flutie just throws it down to the turf. And that will be the 2-minute warning. Baltimore 10, Buffalo 6. We will come back to Baltimore for the finish in a moment. Iron Eagle, Mark May, with you from Baltimore. 10-6, Ravens lead it. With 1:57 to play, our game summary. Flutie and Banks. Numbers just have not been there for either quarterback. What you don't see there is a costly fumble from Banks that gave Buffalo the football and a chance to take the lead. On a 2nd and 10. Flutie. On a pump fake. Flutie floats one. Caught by Reed. Everything went slow motion for a moment as Andre Reed hauled it in at the 17-yard line.
On this play, it almost looked as Doug Flutie just throwing the ball out of bounds. Andre Reed does not move on the play. He stays stationary, gets his feet planted on the sidelines, does not move. The ball's there. They pick up positive yardage, but Doug Flutie, he's been a magician his entire career, particularly in this game of escaping the rush of the Baltimore Ravens.
Clock is stopped. 1:49 left. 3rd and 5 from the 17. Can Flutie pull off another magic show? Throw it towards the corner. Caught by Reed and forced out of bounds. Inside the 10-yard line. They gain 12 on the pass play.
And a perfect timing pattern between Andre Reed. He's not as fast as he used to be in his 15th year, but when you have to have it, you know exactly where he's going to be. You can lay the ball out. Doug Flutie's not looking anyplace else except to Andre Reed. He knows exactly where he's going to be. His 7th reception of the day, 76 yards. He runs the perfect pattern.
They spot the football at the 5 and a 1st and goal. Bills have 1 timeout remaining. Trailing 10-6. Flutie reverses field. Flutie on the move, trying to buy some time to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Jonathan Linton. Buffalo takes the lead. First ever touchdown catch for Linton. And a flag on the play.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer, number 45 in the defense. That penalty would be assessed on the kickoff. Touchdown.
What a time for Linton to get his first NFL touchdown catch. And Flutie made it happen again.
Doug Flutie's just incredible. We talked to Tony Saragusa, the defensive tackle of the Baltimore Ravens. He said he's Houdini out there. And he is. He just finds a way to win, and he never gives up on a play.
Extra point. Steve Christie adds it, making this a 3-point game. Buffalo 13, Baltimore 10. The last 10 points the Bills have put on the board, they have come off Raven turnovers.
But keep an eye on Doug Flutie. He's going to take the snap. He's looking down to his left. He drifts over to his left. There's nothing there. He takes off to the right. And watch the little hand shiver right here to get away from the blitz. And he still fades out, but then he finds Jonathan Linton, just cradles him in, puts the ball only where Jonathan Linton can catch it and the defense can't get it. But he stiff arms right there. Kim Herring rolls to the outside. Doug Flutie makes it happen with his escapability, his concentration, and Jonathan Linton waving to him. Here I am. Here I am. Find the hole, Doug. He threads the needle. Touchdown, Buffalo Bills.
9 plays, 45 yards. It took 1 minute and 50 seconds. And Jonathan Linton, who has been on that field a lot more than he ever expected this season because of the injury to Thurman Thomas.
And he's really grown as a player this year. He's in his second year out of North Carolina. They thought he was going to be a fullback. Then they got Sam Gash, and then he was going to be a backup tailback and a special teams player. Now he's kind of fit the role of an every down player. He's a tailback, he's a fullback, but they can go to him on third down. Thurman Thomas was the perfect third down wide receiver, but now Jonathan Linton's starting to fill that bill.
And Linton has outplayed Antoine Smith and deserves that full-time role that he has gotten. 15 carries, 58 yards for Linton today, and now tack on the touchdown reception to give Buffalo the 13-10 edge with 1:35 left. Baltimore, its offense just has to move down the field and get Brian Billick's team into field goal range. Corey Harris will take a knee. Keep in mind that the penalty that was assessed, it gave Buffalo an opportunity to kick off from midfield. And Tony Banks will have it 1st and 10 from the Ravens 20. Coming up, the American General postgame show. Jim, Craig, Randy, and Jerry will get you caught up on all the scores and highlights from today's action around the NFL. It's all coming up on the American General postgame show. Jonathan Linton. The pass from Flutie to the end zone is the difference right now. 13-10 Buffalo, 1:35 to play. Banks will operate out of the shotgun on a 1st and 10 from the 20. Banks has the time, moving forward now. Banks is brought down. Just shy of the line of scrimmage, Marcellus Wiley got it. He will be given credit for a sack.
And Marcellus Wiley went the overland route all the way around the top, and he gets the sack on Tony Banks. He's at the top of the screen, goes around the pass protection, and he still stays with his rush. Tries to knock the ball out here, tries to strip him, but stays with the tackle and brings Tony Banks down for the sack. Outstanding hustle by Marcellus Wiley.
Ravens use a timeout. They have 2 remaining. And the 3rd Bills sack of the afternoon. .127 on the clock. Buffalo with a 13-10 lead on Baltimore. Doug Flutie to Jonathan Linton. The touchdown pass giving the Bills the 3-point lead. Brian Billick's club. They've lost 2 in a row. They've changed quarterbacks 3 times this year. Tony Banks getting his opportunity. He's been waiting for it since the day he got into this camp. Banks flings one ahead. Caught by Armour. And a 1st down as he crossed the 30-yard line. 13 yards through the air.
It's a great target for Tony Banks. Justin Armand, 6'4". He's a big target. Get the ball to Armour any place in the open field. Don't throw the outs now. Now you want to throw down the middle of the field.
Coming up on the 1-minute mark of the 4th quarter. Banks throwing again. Flag comes down, and it's incomplete. Aaron Pierce in the vicinity. Nine penalties on Baltimore today, 7 on Buffalo.
Illegal formation by the offense. Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty remains 1st down.
Another look at the touchdown that has given Buffalo the lead.
And Doug Flutie gives a straight arm to Kim Herring, the safety RC right there, escapes that rush and throws the ball only where his wide receiver can get it. He threads the needle. It's the running back, his receiver out there. Jonathan Linton comes down with a touchdown reception.
Bills have trailed all afternoon long, and that's how funny this game can be. Off of a Tony Banks turnover, he fumbled the football. Buffalo took over, and they did something with it. Banks hit as he throws, and incomplete. Marcellus Wiley came firing in, and Banks popped the ball high in the air, but it stops the clock with 55 seconds left.
And you have to stay until the whistle blows till the play's over. Marcellus Wiley continues on. He does not stop. He goes by Harry Swain, the right tackle, and still relentlessly gets to Tony Banks and puts a hit on him.
The American General postgame show, don't forget that's coming up with all the scores and highlights from today's action around the NFL on the American General postgame show. Stay tuned for that.
In the front four for the Buffalo Bills, they're teeing off right now. Their ears are pinned back. They're not thinking draw, screen. They're going right after Tony Banks.
On 2nd and 15 from the 28, Banks airing it out. Deep ball, nearly intercepted. This game is over if Darryl Porter holds on to the football. It is now 3rd and 15 for the Ravens.
Good protection. He just lays this ball out in the middle of the field, trying to stretch the defense, hoping for a big play, but you've got to throw it to where your receivers can get it.
2 more cracks at it on a 3rd and 15, 49 seconds left. Ravens just want to get into field goal range for a chance to tie this game at 13. Banks, that looked ugly from the start, and he throws the football away. Bruce Smith, he got the penetration.
And he wants the sack. Bruce Smith hasn't had a sack in weeks. He only has 2 on the season. But my question is, why do you have Aaron Pierce, a tight end, going one-on-one with a future Hall of Famer in Bruce Smith? Bruce Smith will beat him like a tom-tom every time. Here, gets the up-hand rip, goes to the rip to the outside, and just goes all the way around him, has his hands on his waist, brings him down. There is no way I leave Bruce Smith one-on-one with a tight end at a crucial point in the ballgame.
This crowd, which was so energized earlier, is deflated. A 4th and 15. Final chance for the Ravens, trailing 13-10. Banks in the pocket. Banks throws to the sideline, out of bounds, and that's it. The Buffalo Bills have come from behind to defeat the Baltimore Ravens and end a 2-game losing streak. Wade Phillips knows that this was not pretty, but it goes down as a W.
That's the first time we've seen Wade Phillips smile in 2 days.
You're right.
He didn't smile when we interviewed him yesterday because he knew it would be a tough game. He had a lot of players injured in this game, and the entire game he knew it was an ugly football game, but they found a way to win at the end. That's what good teams do.
Tony Banks was hoping that this would be a fresh start for him. Former starter with St. Louis. Was 3rd on the depth chart to begin the season here in Baltimore. Finally got his chance. But an interception and a fumble cost the Baltimore Ravens today and cost them a chance to end their 2-game losing streak. Instead, the Ravens will drop to 2-5. The Bills will improve to 5-3. With a matchup next week on the road against a hot Washington team that can put points on the board. Buffalo avoids the 3-game slide. They come into Baltimore, they rally in the 4th quarter, and they beat the Ravens 13-10. Doug Flutie, not one of the better games he has played in the NFL, but in the 4th quarter, Flutie answers the call.
And not only that, and the most important thing Doug Flutie remember about this game, the W. They won the game. He did not play Doug Flutie football. The Bills didn't play winning football. They couldn't convert on 3rd down. They couldn't put points on the board. But when they had to have it, defense came up with the big plays, offense converted and put the ball in the end zone when they needed it most at the end of the game to win it.
Doug Flutie, originally from Maryland, and he comes back to his pseudo hometown area and gets the win. Flutie and the Bills now 5-3. They keep pace in the AFC East. For the Ravens at 2-5, it will be very difficult for them to come back and make something of this 1999 season, the first under new head coach Brian Billick. Buffalo wins it here today, 13-10, the final score over Baltimore. Buffalo, the W.